Okay, great. I see it's working there. Okay, Sundangi. First of all, Tashi Dele, greetings to all. Geshe hopes that you are all well and happy, that everything is going nicely. So our main task, of course, is to take the facility, the basis that we have now of this human birth, and make this something that is able to achieve not only our own welfare, but also contribute to the welfare of others. And we have to understand, though, that in order to accomplish that, we can't just continue as usual, because achieving that is not achieved through engaging with samsara, through the nature of samsara. So, of course, that doesn't mean that samsaric happiness is not important at all. We do have to consider some measure of samsaric happiness. Yeah. So, of course, thinking that we want to achieve a stable happiness, we have to think of a happiness that is apart from samsara. So what happens is, based upon those moments of samsaric happiness, we achieve a happiness that is beyond samsara when we cultivate. And similarly, on the basis of this samsaric body, this physical form that we have right now, we are able to achieve the state of a body that is beyond samsara. And of course, the main thing is not this physical body, but rather it is the mind. So to be able to achieve this happiness beyond samsara, we develop in our mind those qualities that enable that, specifically the mind of bodhicitta rooted in love and compassion. So it is said that actually all 6 types of different kinds of sentient beings within samsara are able to bring forth a measure of love and compassion. But it is human beings who can bring forth that love and compassion in the most powerful way. And it is said that even within the 6 different types of beings within samsara, all 6 types of those beings can actually bring forth bodhicitta, but it is humans that are able to do it most easily. And there's a scholarly debate too, right? There's a scholarly debate with some scholars saying, in terms of bodhicitta, right, that actually the other types of beings within samsara other than human, they're able to bring forth love and compassion, but they can't bring forth the actual bodhicitta. Is everyone muted? Because I can hear typing. So they can't bring forth bodhicitta, they can only bring forth love and compassion. Yeah, so Jetsunpa, who is the author of the scholastic texts of Serije Monastery, where Geshe is from, he holds that all sentient beings, all 6 types of sentient beings actually can bring forth bodhicitta. It's just more difficult for some. Of course, our situation currently is that we are human beings, and human beings is the very most powerful, precious basis, right? The most powerful basis for bringing forth these minds. So today, from the space of bodhicitta, we are going to take these Mahāyāna precepts, the Tekshen Sojong, and we should understand that ultimately the purpose of these Mahāyāna precepts is to enhance our practice of bodhicitta.
어다 개바 가시게서는 다게요. 개바 가시게서는 조지 셈비 동방년 레차와제. 어다 디거더니 보게 뇨요나 다티와 소존라고 퓨처도 약체들에.
Right. So some scholars explain the Mahāyāna precepts in this way, that traditionally actually the practitioner will take the bodhisattva vows as a way of renewing them, and then will engage in this practice of the Mahāyāna precepts, which is like a poshada, which is like a confession and renewal ceremony for the bodhisattva vows specifically.
어다 가이는 면에 된다 대요 조지 세시비 돈슈 첨보요 비대는 대체 소존해야지래.
So, but whether or not we do that, that's not the most important thing. What we do want to do is bring forth bodhicitta within our mind as strongly as we can, and then on that basis engage in this ceremony for receiving the precepts.
오야 다도 뭐 알랭아서 사 순지도 쇼아서 템비도 보조 시비간갈 다 버실라셔야지 사치 만들어야지.
So in order to receive the blessings of the holy beings, in particular Buddha Shakyamuni, before we engage in this ceremony, we will request their blessings through the prayers. So we'll go to the prayer for teaching occasions, the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Tumba chom dende deshin sheba dra chom ba yanda ba zobe sangye reba dang shav sudemba dewar sheba jiten gemba kebudu e kalo gyurwa lana meba ladamin hangitemba sangye chom dende bejawa shakya tubala chazelo chede gyabsuji ho Temba chondende dejin sheba drachomba yandaba zobe sangye reba dang shabzu demba dewa sheba jiten chemba chebu dewe kalo jorwa lana meba ladami namgi temba sangye chondende bejawa shakya tubala chazelo chede kyabzu ji ho temba chondende dejin sheba Drachomba yandaba zobe sangye reba dang shabzu demba dewa sheba jiten chemba chebu dewe kalo jorwa lana meba ladami namgi temba sangye chondende bejawa shakya tubala chazelo chede kyabzu chi ho. Continuing with the prayer underneath. Kanze kani tso ketanze sachen de la gomba dumbo ne ngani jiden dina choche sung deze keba kela cha salo nanda kunga chodu suzangwa yeshe jamso segi lumbo dra draba jiden sumna la mewa gombo chunye kela cha salo zensho demba jime da weje sedo drawa kela cha salo Duje kera suba sumachi nyame kenshin kela cha zalo gombo tuje chedemba tamshe kembe temba po Sonam yenden gazo shin deshin shela cha zalo dape deja jewa gyo gewing ensong lejo chin chidu dandam shogyo pa jigyo chela cha zalo jane jewe lam yanten laba dala ratu
ne shingi damba yenden den gendin layang cha zalo diba chiang mi cha jing gewa bunzum zoba che rangi semni yongsu du dini sangi tenba yin kama rare mame dang gyuma zoba chubu dang midang lo dang jinda bu duje chenam de da da senan di tamje zeba yi goban tebne kyungi jatu te gada nadang chiwe la jupe sibe zele jowa jowa sho.
And then we'll do a short mandala offering.
Sa ji begi ji me do cha ji ra lin ji ni de gyam ba de sang ge jin do me de bo wa ge ro ko nan da jin la je ba sho I dam guru ratna mendala ka niryata ya mi.
Sang ge Joseph.
That's good. 다 다루로 소소이나 요소소 놀 다니 dombalebe kala 다 드리네 스테이지 지보지보기 대노지 제토나 너는 할레베 요보요레스.
So if you, after receiving these from a preceptor, you can take these at home. If you decide to take them at home, the best way is to do them in sort of the extensive way, which we're going to do today.
다 rumba tombo텔 다 장도도 세시 요보보스 이다야체. 아니 이바텔 사자 신지라 그거레스 사지 신지라.
So how this works is the first thing that you're going to do is take refuge and generate bodhicitta. Secondly, you're going to recite the verse to purify the place where you're dwelling. So you want to be able to purify the place and visualize the place you're abiding as a pure land. The reason that you want to visualize it in this way is because you're going to invite the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to abide there for the ceremony. And so then the next one is prayers related and mantras related to the offerings. And so these are the offerings that you've actually set out, as well as offerings visualized by mind. And of course, it's important to make the offerings because once we've invited the holy beings as our guests, we want to present them with something. And Geshe said, for the purpose of today, if at your house you don't have any offerings set out, you can just think of the water offerings that we have set out here. That can act as the base. So the idea is that so the idea is that even if you just have a few offerings actually set out, that the offerings emanated by mind are very vast. That you imagine that they are offerings like Samanta Bhadras. How you do this is you imagine that from your heart countless light rays go out. At the end of each of these light rays filling the sky are countless offerings that are presented to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In this way, the offerings are limitless. So when you do the offerings visualized by mind, emanated by mind, you don't need to worry about only making a few. You should make them as vast as possible.
So that's
the third thing, is the making of the offering prayer. And then the fourth thing that you're going to do is to recite the offering cloud mantra. And through this mantra or dharani, this kind of multiplies and stabilizes the offerings. Yeah, so it looks like a mantra. So it looks like a mantra, but actually Geshe said the offering mantra is sourced from a sutra, not from a tantra. It's sourced from a sutra. So technically, it's a dharani. It's a dharani, we say.
어떤 어떤 저기도 왔어. 어다 대차서 되는 전에 다 자리 부수어서 사와기자 되는 전에 된대셔야지 알았어.
So after those sections, because we've prepared the place well and nicely, then we actually invite the holy beings to come and take their seats.
어다 녀니 칼라도 강가실라도 강가체와 강가자리서 사와래 샬라자 사와래 다 된대셔상에 되네 열라 되고 거니 추사도 조체와 비알라서바 다 대체하레스.
And so having invited the holy beings to abide in the place, then we engage in the 7-limb prayers to prostrate, make offerings, and so forth.
어다 대체바이네 다 대체 소주 손주세도 데이 돈에 대체 소주래야 할래비 다 보게 자체모도 니바치모 줘야 제세 몸보여 알레스.
So if we practice in this way, according to the words of the text, from this space of bodhicitta taking the Mahāyāna precepts, then this practice becomes very blessed and very vast.
어다 시도 소소 니바가 보게 이치 때모요나 인지 멘지 된데 샤트니서 그거 말은 가로솔 지지요 타니볼 요용하레스 알레스.
So it is also said that if you cannot recite the ritual in a vast way, going through these various steps and inviting the holy beings is not absolutely necessary, because the holy beings are around us and able to respond anytime, really.
다 이나요 된데션에 되는 같이 대야 된 가로서 다 이치 때는 로야 또다 보게 야보 때때 요런 로야 제들레스.
But when we go through the ritual extensively in this way to prepare the place and invite the beings and so forth, this helps us cultivate an attitude of reverence, which enhances our faith in the holy beings as part of the ceremony.
되네 소소 노는 당연에 저는 단다이나 비모 붙여서는 되고요. 아레스 다이나 인데 대보 만드는 간저 티벨 따가 이자 알렌저가 와서 소소 노는
So Geshe said also that when you come to the actual verse for receiving the vows and you're doing this at home, he encourages you to get on one knee and to recite that verse. He said that for now, because of how Geshe and I are seated and because of how people are seated differently at home, it's perfectly fine just to do it from a normal posture. But if you're doing this practice at home by yourself, ideally you go on one knee with folded palms for the prayer of receiving the precepts.
대체 소주 렘베칼 로베 요나 로베 공서소 산도야레 로베 메나 쇼잖아 주요 소저도 주여서도 달라 공서소 산도야레스.
So then another thing that you'll notice is that there's two ways to start the ceremony. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions pay attention to me, or Master pay attention to me. So if you're in a setting like this, where a Geshe is the preceptor, you're receiving from a preceptor, you say, Master, please pay attention to me. But if you're doing this at home, you say, may the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions pay attention to me.
로베 요나 로베 이나요 로베 세크라와 다 요나 라마 요나 요 라밍엘레 레소소 다 하고서라 어느 전에 만우야 개자레스.
And when a master is transmitting the precepts, actually the preceptor, he or she has to do the ceremony to receive the precepts themselves first, and only then can they transmit the precepts to others.
드네 강길레 차소나 드네 케드가 드네 콤발레 노지 고르사 노지 사주 말에.
Tilaki mesta. Ti apumentus consungene pecengre. Tilaki Ti apumentus tam abola paentra mi.
Yeah, sorry, there like me. Tanto che te ne lezza sona. Ane lo ve io ta tai no leso tamatama giro was.
Yeah. And then at the end of the ceremony, what the preceptor is going to say is tapyano, and you respond legso. So this will all be in the text. It should be easy to follow along. And then after that, we'll recite the mantra for maintaining Shila, the mantra of immaculate morality together a couple of times, and then this is the end of the ceremony.
Yeah,
so we're going to go to Tambo Tabshudune Sajita Sangichoso, right? So recite the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, and then we're going to go to page 14 of direct and unmistaken method. Yeah, gosuso.
Sonje
Chedan sogi chenam la jangcho badu dani gyazu ji dagi chenyen sonam gi drola benje sange droba sho Chedan sogi chenam la jangcho badu dani gyazu ji dagi chenyen gi be sonam gi drola benje sange droba sho Chedan sogi chenam la jangchu badu dani gyabzu ji dagi chenyen gibe sunam gi drola penji sangye dropa sho.
So now we will go to page 14 of Direct and Unmistaken Method. We'll start at the verse for purifying the place, page 14. Oh dear. Okay, so it looks like you don't have the same one that I have, Tezgua. Can you do a search for purifying the place? This is what happens when FPMT puts out many. It's there. Slowly down. When FPMT puts out like 29 editions of each text, this is what happens. There you go. Yeah, so we're starting there.
Tamje duni saje da sema lazo meba da lade tanyam bendu ye rangshin jambo nejo chi.
And then we go to purifying the place. Is that there? No. Oh dear. This is so frustrating. Can you do a search for purifying the place if you go into the search option of the text? There we go. Yeah. So we recite that next. Ale, didro tsarwa. Sorry, the offering prayer is next. It's all messed up. They're not the same text. Offering prayer. There we go. Yeah.
Lada mi chebeze ngosu shandang yigi cho kuzang chujin lana me namge kangun chakjor chi.
Ngakdirwa. And next, the offering cloud mantra.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramadane Tathagataya Arahate Samyasam Buddhaya Tayata Om Vaje Vaje Mahateja Vaje Mahabidya Vaje Mahabodhicitta Vaje Mahabodhi Mandapa Vaje Savakama Avarana Vijodhana Vaje Swaha Om Namo Bhagavata Vaje Sava Pramadana Tathagataya Arahate Samyasam Buddhaya Tayata Om Vaje Vaje Mahateja Vaje Mahavidya Vaje Mahabodhicitta Vaje Mahabodhi Mandapa Sakramana Vaje Savakama Avarana Vishodhana Vaje Swaha Om Namo Bhagavata Vaje Sava Pramadana Tathagataya Arahate Samyasam Buddhaya Tayata Om Vaje Vaje Mahateja Vaje Mahavidya Vaje Mahabodhicitta Vaje Mahabodhi Mandapa Sakramana Vaje Savakama Avarana Vishodhana Vaje Soha.
And so the next one is going to be extensive power of truth. Yes, okay, good. It looks like now the texts are on the same page.
Kunchu Sungi Dempa Dang Sangye Dang Changchu Sempa Tamshi Ki Jinji La Dang Suni Yongsu Zobe Nga Dang Chenpo Dang Chugi Ni Nangpa Dashi Sangi Mi Chape Togi Deshi Nidu Jorchi.
Yes. So these are the extensive words of truth. This prayer is known as the extensive words of truth. Yep. So next is the invocation. Geshe said the invocation is actually so it's not the same again. Can you do a search, please, for invocation in the search box? There we go. Yes.
Malu senjin kungi gonjoji Dude punche mize jomze la Ngema malu yanda chenjo pe Chunden koche nede shesu so.
So next, please do a search for the 7-limb prayer. The 7-limb prayer. There we go.
Go sungu be go ne cha se lo nge sha mi zhu che zhe ma lu bu to me ne sa di du tam je sha ke ba ge wa nam la je rang kor wa ma dum ba du le jo ne jo la che gi ko lo ko wa da zhen ge nam jang chu chen bo
Mande Pugugi.
비자순다.
So we've already offered the mandala. So the next one we're going to go to, and thank you whoever is searching for all the sections for me, much appreciated. Prayer for taking the precepts. Prayer for taking the precepts is the next section.
그래서
Oh, that's good. That's good. There we go. Yes. So just go down a little. Yes, that's correct. Okay, great.
다 쇼주지세 그 버게 세알 템보도 바체메 바야 본도와 초 세노고 초 자친모 그거야 이자 다리 수시시 있다네 야라 덤빙거네 다 차솔레가 제바드레스.
So in order for bodhicitta to be brought forth, and in order for bodhicitta to remain strong and stable, in particular from the two collections, we need an extensive collection of merit. And that is why we've gone through the process of reciting the verses to invite the holy beings, making the offering 7 limbs, and so forth.
다 보이자 제파까비 돈에 다 단다 대체소 중 있어 쇼주지세 대한다 레아드레스.
And so now is the prayer to actually receive the Mahāyāna precepts. And these are done on the basis of making promises to avoid the 8 objects of abandonment, the 8 activities we abandon.
다 깨자 뭐시 맹고네 맞아라. 순지도 저 소난 디스 그 순지 관계가 대체소 중 느리질래네라 옆에 바래 나용 다 대노지로 이세리아레스.
And so part of what this prayer is expressing is that all of those beings who became Buddhas and Bodhisattvas before, they did so on the basis of taking this Mahāyāna purifying and restoring ordination, these Mahāyāna precepts. So I will do the same. So then what you're going to do is, so we're starting on the line that reads, Lupen Dagla Gonsu Sul. Do you see that? Yes, it's there in the brackets. Excellent. So you're just going to repeat after Geshe as we go through the ceremony. So thank you so much for the people that are helping me with the text. Listen, I'm talking too much, so I'm going to be quiet now. So just repeat after Geshe as best you can. And so as we receive these precepts, we imagine that the space and the sky around us are Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
로베 공서소
Lopen Gonsu Sol,
제당년조
Jitangungi,
대제시에바
Dejin Shepa,
다종바
Drachompa,
용다바
Yandapa,
조베 송제
Zope Sangye,
다중시 따버
Tachangi Tawu,
롬보체 따버
Lambochen Tabu,
샤와시시
Jawa Jeshin,
셰바 시바
Jepa Jepa,
크르보와
Kurboa.
크르보와를 코와트 파자바세 코이 핀보트 파자바세 요레스
Ale, so Kurboa means those who set down the burden.
코이 핀보트 도진다 보치는 대파자바 뿜바
Ale, so it means abandoning the ordinary samsaric body. Korwegi kudi pajaya.
야 거의 리대
야.
대노지마 로드근도와
Yes.
그 롱거 그를 보아
Kurboa.
롱거 대 지서 토바
Rangi dun jesu topa.
시바 가르 시바
Sipa kundu jorwa.
시바 건도 조와
Sipa kundu jorwa.
아니 용서 세바
Yongsu zepa.
용다베가
Yandape ka.
레바 넘바 조이 투
Lepa nampa joe tu.
레바 넘바 조이 시라제
Lepa nampa joe sherabjin.
대다기
Dedagi.
세제 통제저
Senshin tamjegi.
된저 셔동
Dungi chirdang.
맞지니 맞지 보체다 마이마 세제 유족이 쳇세요
So we aren't receiving these precepts just for the sake of one or two beings, but for the welfare of all sentient beings.
세제 통제저 된저 셔동
Semchen tanchegi dungi chirdang.
펜바샤이 셔동
Pempar jawe chirdang.
조아샤이 셔동
Jowa jawe chirdang.
네메바
Muge. Muge mepar jawe.
머게 메바샤이 셔동
Muge mepar jawe chirdang.
네메바샤이 셔동
Ne mepar jawe chirdang.
쇼주저 쇼저 치노
Jangshugi chogi chönom.
용서 조바샤이 셔동
Yongsu zoba jawe chirdang.
쇼주저 쇼대 선지 소디요와
Yeah.
어때세요 야레스
Yeah, so these are the 37 practices of enlightenment.
쇼주저 쇼지 치노 용서 라나 메바
Yongsu zoba jawe chirdang, right?
라텔라
That's
차스
what. Lana mepa, yeah.
라나 메바
Lana mepa.
용다바
Yandapa.
조비 쇼추
Zobe jangshu.
녜바 또위 셔
Ngeba tobe jir.
뭐텔라 손지지 공부되세요 야레스
And this is promising to achieve the actual state of complete
소종
enlightenment.
용다바
Sojang yangdapa.
제바
Zepa.
대저도
Dejindu.
대페레서 손지 걸어서 다 대노지 레바 대노지
So Deshindu means similarly. So taking the Buddha as the example, as we mentioned previously, then us promising to do the same.
다 소속 메디 여볼라 다 민도
Da Mingdu, say your name. Kedru.
시저와
Shijorwa.
딘더네
Di dine.
즈테
Zungde.
순이니마 마샤저 바더
Sani nima mashagi bardu.
순이니마 마샤 단다 디세테 노지 말레바드
So this is promising to maintain these precepts until sunrise time tomorrow.
세제 통제저
Semchen tamjegi.
겐저 셔동
Dungi chirdang.
펜바샤이 셔동
Pembar jawe chirdang.
조와샤이 셔동
Jowa jawe chirdang.
나나 메바
Jowa jawe chirdang. Muge mepa jawe.
머게 메바샤이 셔동
Muge mebe jawe chirdang.
네 메바샤이 셔동
Ne meba jawe chirdang.
쇼주주 쇼저 치노
Jangshugi chogi chuno.
용서 조바샤이 셔동
Yongsu zoba jawe chirdang.
나나 메바
Lana mepa.
용다바
Yandapa.
조비 쇼추
Zobe jangshu.
녜바 또비 셔
Ngepa tobe shir.
소종 용다바
Sojong yandapa.
롱와 저고
Langwa ji o.
올레 도모소네 니바 용아저 지데 제바셔
So that's the first recitation. So we go back to the beginning of this prayer, whoever's doing the text, and we do the second recitation.
로베 공서소
Loben gonsu so.
제다른 연저
Jidar ngungi.
대지셰바
Dejin shepa.
라종바
Drachomba.
용다바
Yandapa.
조비 손제
Zobe sangye.
다중시다바
Dashengshi kadu.
롬보 쳔보
Lambo jembo.
샤와시시
Jawa jeshin.
셰바 셰바
Jeba jeba.
크르보아
Kurboa.
롱게테
Rangi dun.
롱게테 지스 탐바
Jesu topa.
시바 건도 좋아 용서 세바
Sipa kuntu jowa yongsu zeba.
아니
Yanda
용다비까
peka.
레바 넘바 조이 투
Lepa namba jowe tu.
레바 넘바 조이
Lepa namba jowe.
시라제
Sherabchin.
대다기
Dedagi.
현재 통제제 된제 셔동
Semchen tanchegi dungi chirdang.
펜바샤이 셔동
Pembar jawe chirdang.
로아샤이 셔동
Jowa jawe chirdang. 무게 메바.
무게 메바샤이 셔동
Muge mepa jawe chirdang.
간지 여보 다 무게 강가 메바속이 있어
So this is to eliminate all wars and conflicts,
네메 강가 메바속이
and also to eliminate all pandemics and diseases.
무게 메바샤이 셔동
Ne mepa jawe chirdang jomasun. Ne mepa.
네 메바샤이 셔동
Ne
네 메바샤이 셔동
ne mepa jawe chirdang.
쇼주주 쇼저 치노
Jangshugi chogi chuno.
용서 조바
Yongsu zoba.
샤이 셔동
Jawe chirdang.
쇼주 소데 용다 파파 토바속이
So engaging in all those 37 practices of enlightenment perfectly.
라나 메바
Lana mepa.
용다바
Yandapa.
조비 쇼추
Zobe jangchu.
네바 또비 셔
Ngepa tobe chir.
소종 용다바
Sojong yandapa.
제바
Zepa.
대저도
Dejindu.
다민도
Da mindu, say your name. Kedru.
shi jawa
shi jorwa
dindane
dit atmari dudi ne zungte
ya dindane zute tekne dindane zute
didi ne zungte
sunnyama masha jo bado
saninima mashagi bardu
senje tongje jo
semshin tamche gi
denje shadong
dungi chirdang
pemba shai shadong
pemba jawe chirdang
jowa shai shadong
jowa jawe chirdang
mage meba shai shadong
muge mepa jawe chirdang
ne meba shai shadong
ne mepa jawe chirdang
shonju ju shu je cheno
jangshu gi chugi chuno
yonso zoba shai shadong
yongsu zoba jawe chirdang
lana meba
lana mepa
yonda ba
yangda pa
zobe shonju
zobe jangshu
ngepa tobi shir
ngepa tobe chir
sojong yonda ba
sojong yangda pa
longwa jogo
longwa ji o
da le ni ba so le simbi ta la ta sa te che soju ta pa ge ya yonda ba pa so ba chi to shu so ba ta ga wa ya ko ge ya res.
So then that was the second recitation. Now the third and final recitation, after which you should feel, I have excellently received the Mahāyāna purifying and restoring ordination, the Mahāyāna Posada.
Da di ni ba la te ne soju se dun de le ge ya yi za che ko tu ma me ba so be le ne kang ga pa ta ni la shong shi ta su ba cha de ji ba ta su.
So you should also imagine that since through the basis of their practice, of this practice, the mind of bodhicitta can be brought forth through its strength, all of the negative karmas accumulated from countless lifetimes until now have been completely purified.
Da shong ju se to cha na te ya jin ro ya ka si to me na ya ta to ya la pa ni ne ji je pu su chu ba.
And if we have already brought forth bodhicitta, we imagine that this practice of bodhicitta is enhanced and perfected. If we have not yet brought forth bodhicitta, we imagine that we have drawn closer to being able to bring it forth.
Lobe gonso so
loben gonsu so
chitarang enjo
chitarang ngi
deje sheba
dejin chepa
da chomba
dra chomba
yonda ba
yangda pa
zobe songje
zobe songge
da chungshi da bo
da xingxi kawu
longbo chenbo
longbo chenbo
jawa shishi
jawa jeshin
sheba
jepa
kar bowa
kur borwa
rongge de jisa toba
rangi den jesu topa
siba kando jowa yonsa seba
siba kundu jowa yongsu zepa
yonda be ka
yangda pe ka
leba nomba troi tu
leba nampa jowe tu
leba nomba troi
leba nampa jowe
shiraje
shirab chin
dedagi senje tongje je denje shadong
semshin tangche gi dungi chirdang
pemba shai shadong
pemba jawe chirdang
rowa shai shadong
rowa jawe chirdang
mage meba shai shadong
mugi meba jawe chirdang
ne meba shai shadong
ne meba jawe chirdang
shoju je shuje cheno
jangshu gi chugi chuno
yonsa zoba shai shadong
yongsu zoba jawe chirdang
lana meba yonda ba
yangda ba
zobe shonju
zobe jangshu
ngeba tobi shir
ngeba dobe chir
sojong yonda ba
sojong yangda ba
zepa
de
jeta
jindu
da mindu
say your name kedru
shi jawa
shi jorwa
dindane
didine
zude
zungte
chise sunyi nima masha je bada
jisi sani nima masha gi bardu
seje tongje jo
semshen tamche gi
denje shadong
dungi chirdang
pemba shai shadong
pemba jawe chirdang
jowa shai shadong
jowa jawe chirdang
mage meba shai shadong
muge meba jawe chirdang
ne meba shai shadong
ne meba jawe chirdang
shonju ju shuje cheno
jangshu gi chugi chuno
yonsa zoba shai shadong
yongsu zoba jawe chirdang
lana
meba
yonda ba
yangda ba
zobe shonshu
zobe jangshu
ngeba tobi shir
ngeba dobe chir
sojong yonda ba
sojong yangda ba longwa
jogo
jiho
So this was the conclusion of the actual prayer to receive the precepts. So this practice is based on avoiding 8 activities. So for this fixed period of 24 hours, we avoid these 8 activities. And so they are divided into 4 root and 4 branch commitments. So the 4 root ones are not killing, not stealing others' possessions, not engaging in sexual activity. So usually for lay people it's sexual misconduct, but here it's any sexual activity for the 24 hours. And the 4th is not to speak falsehoods, not to lie.
this one.
Loso.
Oh, that yellow jet chun the cheese.
And so the branch commitments that we're avoiding, one of those is avoiding taking intoxicants. Loso.
Oh, that chun like in a lavarima, and the razia.
Yeah. So Geshe said, and that should mean not just alcohol. You know, the word alcohol is sometimes used here, but this is any intoxicating substance should be avoided.
Oh, this one. Then it is
Yeah. Do you mind basics in
that?
Right. And then eating at improper times, so that means after 12 o'clock. Yeah. And the next one is not to sit on large, higher, expensive beds. So Geshe is just explaining here that if your normal bed is like, you know, especially if you're a family person, a larger bed, that's okay. But you don't want something that's more luxurious than what you usually do, something that's ornamented with gold and jewels and so forth. That's what is meant by high and expensive. And also, you shouldn't be sitting on any sort of high or important seats for these 24 hours. So Geshe says normally, according to the text on discipline, the bed should be about this high, from the elbow to the tip of the hand, right? If you're going to be really strict. But Geshe said if the bed that you're normally sleeping in is a little bit higher, don't stress about it. You know, we just do our best. Because we have to understand what the point of the precept is, right? And the point of this precept of avoiding high seats is to avoid bringing forth a prideful, arrogant attitude. You know, because associated with those high seats and so forth, there can be pride. They can also give rise to jealousy, looking down on others. So we just want to avoid those minds. And Geshe said also he's going to impose an extra precept for everybody today, which is do not eat meat today. So it's not within these actual 8 objects of abandonment, but Geshe said a lot of lamas request this, so he just requests for 24 hours you're not eating any meat. And so then the remaining branch precepts are not to use perfumes, garlands, or ornaments, and also to avoid singing, dancing, and listening or playing music. So that is the 4 branch commitments. And so we avoid these activities and things in particular because they are said to be things that can increase our attachment. That's the main reason. So we're going to recite the commitment prayer to keep the precepts. So if you want to bring up the text, and Abhilash, I'm hoping that it is on page 20. If it's not, yes, excellent. Okay, so we'll recite this together. So I'm to recite it clearly and nicely. So here we go. Dene socho micha jing Ale, sorry, I misunderstood. So Geshe recites and we repeat after him.
Dene soche
micha jing Yengi noyong lomi cha
Chibi
chukyong miche shing Zungi tsikyong mima ho. So those are the 4 root.
Kyuni mombo
nye tenbe
Chuni
yongsu pongwa ja
Chite
Chiten cheto micha jing
Deja Dima Yimbi Si
Dejin duma yimpe ze
Dima Yimbi Si Karaji
Se.
This was a Z Karaji Deja Dima Yimbi Si
I mispronounced, my bad.
Deja Dima Yimbi Si Jido Chingwa Jedo Na
Jidang chengwa jeda na
Gato Luso Pongwa Sha
Gadang luso pongwa ja
Chita Dacho Chita Dacho Tada Na
Jita drachong tadu na
Suje Laso Mashe Tar
Soche laso miche tar
Deja Suje Laso Pong
Dejin soche laso pang
Lame Shonchu Nyoto Sho
Lame jangshu nyuto sho. So this last line, may I quickly attain enlightenment. This is the aim. This is the reason why we take these precepts. May I achieve complete Buddhahood. Dunge Mangchu.
Dunga Mutu in Jiten the
Dunge Mangchu Jitende.
Sibe Chole Drawa show.
Sipe Zole Drowa
What
Sho.
Dunga Mutu Dunga Pazoya Map didn't coin that Kangalo Koala Drawa show.
So this is, we pray that through taking these precepts that all beings may be freed from the ocean of cyclic existence, that they will be released from samsara and suffering. So Geshe is going to say tapino, and you're going to all reply legso, which means something like excellent. Leso. Loso. Nga kyogo against kyogo. So temasum digirwa. So we'll recite the mantra for pure morality. If you just go down a little Babylish right there, but we'll do it 3 times. We'll do it 3 times together. Yeah. So Geshe said normally it's 21, but since we're pressed for time, we'll do it 3 times together. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha.
So Geshe
say that in Tibetan, so let us do it in English together. May I maintain faultless morality of the rules and immaculate morality. May the perfection of moral conduct be completed by keeping morality purely and untainted by pride. Oh, right. So Geshe said that in the so Geshe said in the prayer for the precepts, it mentions the elephant and the horse. So he just wants to mention something regarding this elephant and the horse. So then, So on the basis of having an elephant or a horse and so forth that are well trained, one can accomplish sort of any work, any job that needs to be done. But the horse that But the horse that is mentioned here isn't just an ordinary horse. It is considered to be an emanation of Avalokiteshvara. Oh, yeah. So this is related to a story from the land of Rakshasas. So the symbol, which is a Rakshasa, which is a flesh-eating kind of demon, they were causing a lot of harm. So Chenrezi, Avalokiteshvara, came in the form of a horse to that land to dispel the problems. Yeah, so Geshe said that he'll tell this story about the horse emanation of Chenrezi and subduing the Rakshasas next time, because we want to transmit the lung that we promise as part of this session. So Geshe forgot the text for the prayer to reborn in Sukhavati. So while he is getting that text, let's recite the mantra of pure morality together. That's what Geshe instructed. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha. Om Amoga Shila Sambara Bara Bara Mahashuddha Sattva Padma Vibhushita Bhuja Dara Dara Samanta Avalokite Hum Pe Swaha.
he
said Geshe had to do the work while I sat here reciting the mantra. The problem is I don't know where he put the text. If I don't know where it is, how can I find it? Okay.
So domba lembikal domba karina ichibare genogo domba gesego domba teji sojugo domba shunisibi domba inezon lolo yok yaras pusto bachena
punzuzo basena
lolo
so Geshe wanted to just specify something about the transmission of precepts, and this goes for all precepts. So when you talk about the precepts of monks and nuns, novice and full ordination precepts, when you talk about the bodhisattva precepts, and especially when you talk about the lay upasaka and upasika precepts and these Mahāyāna one-day precepts, the preceptor should have them memorized, right? The preceptor should have them memorized, and then you repeat after the preceptor. And so Geshe said this goes for you at home too, right? So ideally, you will have the prayer for receiving the precepts memorized, and you can recite that. However, he realizes that especially people in this part of the world, we're not used to memorization. So initially you can use the text to help you receive the precepts, but ideally you want to memorize that prayer. Yeah, and that's just not some sort of nice thing. This is as is explained in the scriptures. It's important. So we will conclude with the transmission of the prayer to be reborn in Sukhavati. So listen attentively. Yeah. Yes, so this is the prayer to be reborn in Sukhavati.
Ludendo male mare ludendo mare to be the kunje tori suroje de jabe ko ezaraje leje chi se be jazoje jazoche nagi dunga bala mumbai maze chada chisi ka jo be mande dunga kje ne jo bang me da genya da ngaro yela me ban bi umbo pumbi nye jin damba ge ba me shire zin wa jase ta che to ko to chi la ki be so de na pa me ka wa to jo no jo Tijuo Tanya Maya Vandazo La Yola Yazero in the Vaji, Dadu Vajan, the Vati, the Dunde, Suni, Javajo, no Shuchi, the Tumetalati, Dochi, the Yavan Baga, the Mavasato, and Yalasu. Koji going as the Tushi, Javago Jivala, maybe Rado, the Water Boshi, the Neche, doing all Mevato, Teva, Yutumaji, Bamaji. Tembe shall be mata, the Vajas, the Vajas, the Trigiolo, the Vajan, the Lord, the Vaja, the Tembalatine, the Vachan, the Vashi, the Vermoji, Pemali, the Vachi, the Vashata, the Shavachi. Shema thought was with the Vating to the Miba, maybe she said, the Vasem, Balaso, by a tage or so bad, Mebato, Bavatamana Meba, Yabada, Mebalasovashi, Javasi, Batojani, Vashini, the Vachi, never Chochi, the Anoja, the Tavaja, Kunda Vachivan. Kechire la go soje je vache ranjo za vache je tume da vache ne je se be be wala vache to vache yo zo vache vache tabe she da vache ne je vache vache da be kan lo de tuba me be ze zhe ji zo ma ta be she da vache ne me se to je ro ro ge ka vache da vache da chi de ma la de ya nga be lo no ba ta ba la ge ni ba je vache je ba me da vache ma ta ni de zo ba she be go ne me ta ya Tai Bien Rui, the Vaja, Combatelato, Babaji, Noshi, and the Jadona Kuja, Miguel, the Zavatumajavan, Tedoni, Daji, Kumasho, Padino, Washamata, Vajasi, J. Mano, the Vaja, Matashi, again, the one, Javachi, Teda, Combo, Mato, Chu, Mato, Jateta, Combo, Chu, Toma, Mazo, Pesha, Tonje, the Vaja, the Maluto, Babala, Tiba, somebody, Goma, Nova, Babati, shut out to Botovaja. Tori Javaje, Don Javaje, Don Mandava, Javaje, the Veniga Toja, Javane, Javada, Javada, Chambe, Seratamata, Javaje, Siba Tatala, Nimbo Meba, Toshi, Tavi, the two beers on Mekan, de Jodeji, Leba Sui, Chindavala, Rado, Shuan, Shaba, Javajo, Sena, when you do a time, Jo Makiba, Sotojo, Pimbo, Tash, one of the going to shoot a chamber, Niba, Galom, Truba, Tavo, Javato, the Kanya. Toche the Kenemo, but the one of you so much that was the Kumato, Natasha, maybe Yalavachino, you see it on Maliba, Majavan, Runiji, Zuma, Javajala, Tambala, maybe Bovanova, Javaja, the Bovanova, so we think. 샤이 미라 소 벤디미자 시행아 또 녜시르지 토바쇼스 멜로 장두아스
So then these are prayers to be able to be endowed with the ngunchengarwa.
시시 녜시 주도 다 시행아
Shengasana?
시에서는 다 밑에 드니요다 녜신다고
Yes, okay. So the ngunchengana. So with the 5 types of
Yes, you do.
clairvoyance, with the 6 types of clairvoyance and so forth.
또 제도 보노 다스 베팅에서 제거는 샤이 멜라서 베시에노 또 저저 저여 시바라서 엠바시바노 토바도 마타바 저바제 와샤바도 원제도 루도 저바네노 루도 제제네 베시라발라바 저바도바 시라라 쳔보 토바 저바제 게네 모바노 마쇼에 자지 타시 타바노 쳐다바 저다 만리반제네 베시라 사와 토바 저바제 마도바도 루바도바 태조 저바서 마샤마타바다 말레방고네 베시라냐와 토바 저바제 젠제 체즈문네 바 수라 저바체데발라 tuba me be tuba me ban ju be shira saba to baba je je nona chai shira ji je to je to dai shira ji sura je chi dian je ba la ta ke be shira je go ne shong ju sen be je ba tong je ba ta je ba jin zhen me ta ba je ba de da shira che wa sa wa nyu wa sa ba de lo de ni ne ka de ji so ma to lo ma sa je ba to ba ba ji be la je so ra ta do maybe 제바 또 잼바도 좀발라 기베 바로 저마 또 바저 제 마저 또 제도 롱게 대조 원 베베라 시바도 뭐 쇼제 스베 발라바제 알라바지 류제 신베 som바 통제 관이 연주부터 레레 제니도 주게 바로 도 발라바 타기베 쇼제 센저 고네 쇼제 센베 저바 통제 저바 저바 지지 시레 좀 쳐다 저 예, 용샤와 통제도 로도 와젠저 바텔라만주 바바나바디도 마테도 피저고와 통제죠 바바자발라바타 기빈니 비고니 메쇼지세 메베자바 통제지 타세 바바지조 수인도 보다 바바지바 샤와 통제도 발레로 뽕비 진데죠 쇼주이죠 샤바 용조 바샤발라바 통바퇴셰바네 게지죠 요하메 발라바지세 라보치 진데죠 고네 쇼주이제 모바니 바뇨메 샤지자 보다 바저 샤와 통제도 쇼주드베 바제 리동 센저네 통제죠 바샤발라 첸네 메바 통제 링과 이선저 순고 도제죠 바셰네 대와셰바 멘비자 보다 바저제 연쇼 통제도 쳇단데 바르죠 마야 제다정 발라메네 메바 존지 디마인 베저와 동제 좀바시니바 셰자와 쳇바도 메바다 버저제 쳇바제 파체 바신 주더냐와나 쇼바 쳇바도 메비 철레 저희 공개인도와도 지서 템베기 노아라도 템바 동제 토마도 쳇바도 제바만레 바냐와쇼와 저지 공녀와셔와 제제 공견도와 동좀바게 노와 담바데와 뭐 쳇바도 메바 연방 것이네 지마만 베데바데 뭐지 디달라데네 저와도 저도 저와 쳇바메지 기신이 이선제바도 뭐다와 저지 제노샤와도 제든지 때도니 때len데 에데 동제 자와다와 지메 기신이 진이도 되면 이제도 지선제바지 지서주에서나 기신이라 마시베다바데 뭐도데 고 동제네 니바 코나샤바 저지 머니바 깨지도 뭐더바 저지 기신이 지 동바도 지서때마도 지 마초아메바 동바지 대노제 대자다와지도 고더전에 더베 타신바 셴니바 저지 머게신이도 디비 주빈 원데 깨지 조용 문도와 저지 샤와 토제들 렌데라 이치베 대바도 인주도 존지지 세도 따와 넘바다바 타도바 쿠더 전 조아메베 용화지 뭐제도 주바 저지 샤와 통제들 레동아도 이치고니 게이자와 진이지 시바 통제 제대도 조지 넘바다바 코네 저저지 So that
concludes the transmission of the prayer to be reborn in the land of bliss in Sukha. So Geshe said that at the hand of a very strict uncle who would sometimes strike him if he didn't memorize correctly, he had memorized this prayer to be reborn in Sukhavati. So it has a very specific memory for him. But he said, he's very sad. This uncle of his passed away actually some time ago, and he still remembers that kindness of him getting to remember these essential prayers. So from the age of 12, Geshe said he had this prayer to be reborn in the land of bliss, the extensive white umbrella Shitapatra prayers, various prayers of the medicine Buddha, already memorized because of the kindness of this uncle. So Geshe said also connected with the precepts, there's a lot of beautiful stories and so forth, but today's a work day and we're coming to the end of the time, so he didn't have time to share those. Chakatuba. Los.
그 코로그로파 mombo 요바체 코노 야치 파롤 노벨레가 페바로 yes 노벨레가
Nobulinga. So there's a story, of course, of the Buddha in a previous lifetime as a bodhisattva having to travel with many merchants to a jeweled island.
온도비칼 트네 디도 튼디가 바체서네 트지 알로자 트지 메바차.
And so then during this time there was a storm, and because of the storm the boat capsized and sort of fell apart.
아니 섬버지 고고토네 코로스 사잘 티스와스.
And they were brought to the place of the Rakshasas.
tene chene ta ko simbo ge sajal le ba ita tamam kanga sando ge ya ita ani tene chere ji ge twa ji ge ta ji ti se le ne la ti ro ba ji lo ji ya res.
And so the story is that the Bodhisattva, the being who became the Buddha, was there on this island of Rakshasas, of the flesh-eating demons. Seeing that his companions were in the danger of being eaten, they made petitions to receive help. And it was at that time that Chenrezi Avalokiteshvara appeared in the form of the white horse. And so that's what this precious supreme horse that's referred to in the prayer of the precepts is referring to. So Geshe will give the story of that at another time. So then with a mind lifted up in joy, let us dedicate the merits. Jangcho semcho rinpoche mache panam che jore che wan yamba me bayang gone gondo bewa sho tongni tawa rinpoche mache panam che jore che wan yamba me bayang gone gondo bewa sho Jambe bao jidar kemba dang kundu zambo de yon de jinte de da kungi jesu da lo che gewa de da damje rabdungo de su shebe gewa damje ge ngowa gangla chodo ngawa de dagi gewe tsawa di kunkyo Zambo jeje rado ngowa gi gangji rawe kowe jingangge pendan dewa malu jongwe ne chere ziwan tenzin jatso yi shabe side bado tengyo
보시 소쇼지 세와 소쇼지 세다 ngene tindikita tari teche soju nipala teniya shuchi no nirjede tashimba dato ya rode do jede kanga tashimba yongwaji zo yi.
So think that we are very fortunate today through being able to receive these Mahāyāna precepts, to be able to have all we need to bring forth and renew this mind of bodhicitta in the best possible way, so that we can achieve not only our own welfare but also contribute to the welfare of others. So through the merits of this practice, may all of the wars, conflicts, diseases, and so forth, causing suffering in our vast world, be completely cleared away, and may the sun of happiness shine equally upon all sentient beings without discrimination. So then that concludes our activities on this holy day, which Geshe is reminding you is the day of Lhabab Duchen, the Buddha's descent from heaven day, which is among one of the most important Buddhist festival days. And so this was a time where the Buddha was engaged in some activities in those heavenly realms, but on earth he was needed. So one of his main disciples, Geshe believes it was Mahāyāna, asked him to come back down.
so 다 제세 지 되어 돼. 다 이나요.
tumpe amaro.
아니 이날 하이가 다 함mon보지 그런데 이디셀 레바 이자사 소지와 배바레.
So the Buddha went to this heavenly realm because in particular his mother had been reborn as a long-lived deva, as a god in that realm. But due to her pride, of course, she was in danger of falling back into samsara. So she needed help, but also other beings in that god realm were also able to receive help from the Buddha.
근데 뭔가 버리고 그래 저도 좀
Zuttochejo mogapu.
다 뭔가 봐야 저기 가서 손지 루마 가실라 넘린다고 연다 가실라 손지 치수는 돼요 알았어.
Ale.
하고서 오 가실라 시전에 아마사는 마시아와 그랬던 뭐 봤더니 용기 알았어.
So Modgalyayana, he was the foremost in miracle powers of all of the Buddha's disciples, and he saw that the Buddha was interacting in different realms in this way. So he was not on that in the realm of our earth at that moment, but in heaven helping his mother. But in other world systems, he was sometimes being born, newly being born. He was sometimes preaching the Dharma and doing other activities.
근데 손질을 대시위 가서 손질에서 너무 샤와 타자요 알았어.
Zambuling,
된다고.
Dedabo.
샤와 타자.
Trajasana?
샤와 타자. 샤와 뭐 사야 뭐.
Loso. So there are said to be, many sort of millions of world systems just like this one, where Buddhas are preaching the Dharma.
가시엘로 손질은 이제 완전히 시수돼요 알아. 가시 그냥에는 좀을 때데 다 그냥에는 돼 잘.
So it can be that at the same moment in this various world systems, in some of them the Buddha is being born, in others he is preaching the Dharma, in others he is manifesting parinirvana, the passing away, and so forth.
따스 돈에 때는 가리라 계시라 하고요 알았어.
Yeah. So it's kind of unfathomable how the Buddhas are in different worlds in one time. It's something that's even beyond debating, really.
다 진짜 따와이나 소지도 전제 셈바서 그게 너마다 마다지레마도 거랑한서 노아지레마도 그뉴와도 구만양엘은 대바대지 nombajire마도
Nambajire.
엉에네 걸어서 다 들이 강에 그런지 요 말.
We also should remember that when the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas manifest the passing away or getting sick and so forth, we're supposed to see this not as some sort of difficulty they're experiencing from their side, but in fact an aspect of appearance that is arising due to our own karma.
따대지 지체마도 안다고 된다 가로서 드니 여보진로서 아이사 가빙원이 가서 저가라was.
So having thought about these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and how they benefit beings, this is something that we should work towards achieving ourselves with a mind of joy. So thank you very much. In this way, we have finished today's activities. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. So happy Lhabab Duchen, Descent from Heaven Day to all. Take care, everybody. Maybe we see you Sunday. Bye now.
Thank you.